everyone, Coach Allie here. Just working with senior setter Logan Case from our 18-1s, Ursuline Academy and future Bronco at Western Michigan. Show you a couple things that you could do at home while working on your setting. A couple supplies that you might have or with your parents' permission could easily order via Amazon are a volleyball, of course, tape, flexible cones, or extra balls like a basketball or soccer ball if you have extra volleyballs. And then if you have it, a physio ball or a yoga ball. What we're going to do here is we're going to work through a series of wall work and footwork to get a couple more reps with our hands. So right now we're going to talk to you about proper hand positioning. So if you use the markers on the ball, they're about 2 inches apart. You can see Logan here has a good C position. We want to make sure that we have relaxed wrists. So you want to make sure you can flex them back and forth as if you're going in different directions with your hands. And then we don't want to have any high fives. So meaning if I have you bring the ball up above your forehead, I don't want to see a big gap and see your palm without touching the ball. So almost like a palm with a little bit of spacing, but not enough for a high five. Then we're going to talk about posture. So we want to make sure we have a left-right stance. So right foot slightly in front of the left, a slight bend in our knees, good balanced, an engaged core, and in a neutral position. And right now, we're going to have Logan go ahead and start this wall series. So we're going to start with quick hands. If you notice that your hands go out of position, like you can see here, Logan, what we want you guys to try to do is that we want you to stop and remold your hands into that proper hand positioning like we talked about in the beginning. And then go back. So right now, we're having her do a quick hand series of 100. Then we would have you go to 2 feet high, so another 100 there. And then when Logan's done with that, we're going to go ahead and have her do sunrise, sunset. So the important piece here is you're working to take it, keep it in that high position, and then working to take it a little bit more in the hand that goes down. So really work to bend your knees, get underneath the ball, and use that leg power. And then we're going to do around the world. So stay tight to the wall, keep that position. It's a little bit tricky, but we want to make sure that we can take the ball in any direction and try to maintain our hand positioning. It's a little difficult, but it's a good challenge. So to avoid getting dizzy, try to go in opposite directions. Then we're going to go ahead and do some squats. So we'll squat here. Can do about 100 of those. And again, I have this spreadsheet so you guys can use that as a reference for amount of reps. And then we would have you do a one-handed squat. And we'll have you go 50 on each direction. You want to make sure that you're keeping that extension there. Get your hand, stay behind the ball. Don't get underneath it too much. You want to stay nice and behind. So for our older girls, we want to make sure that we're still working on that tempo. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have a one-legged squat with a one-hand set. So if you're using your right hand to set, then you want to work to squat with your left hand. This is a good challenge. Again, work to stay nice and balanced, neutral spine, core tight. Stay as tight at the wall as you can. Then what we're going to go ahead and do is if you want to keep working on getting a little bit more advanced, is we're going to do the quick hands with a jump set. So keep working those relaxed wrists. One thing we want to do is try to keep it in a neutral position. So don't let that ball fall down to your face. Then you'll want to do 2 feet high and then one hand setting for each side. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is if you have a sibling or a parent or someone who's willing to toss you a ball, awesome. So let's go ahead and have you sit down on the ground, crisscross applesauce. If you have 2 balls, if you could put one in your hand to work on the molding of your hand to make sure you're keeping that C position. And then what we're going to have you do is bring them straight up, okay, on top of your forehead, that neutral position, core engaged, okay? And your tosser is going to toss the ball on top of your head, okay? So you're going to catch, and then you're going to work on push palms away. We want to see all 10 fingers, okay? And you're going to go set forwards and do that 100 times, and then you're going to do the same thing and go backwards. 50 where you're push palms away, making sure you have that good hand position. And then you're going to do the same thing now going backwards. So you're going to catch it and then throw it backwards, making sure you're working on that flick of the wrist, okay? And get that finish back. So don't worry about the ball, just worry about flicking it back, getting a nice bounce off the back of the wall. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, you can do the same progression with a physio ball. So now we're going to demo Logan doing the same progression that we talked about before of catch, push palms away, see all 10 fingers, okay, back and forth with your tosser, and then do the same thing of just setting forward back to your tosser, and then working the same series back and forward, okay? Again, we want to work on really working our shoulder blades and flicking our wrists back. For our younger setters, you might have to do more of a pushing up because we're still working to get a little bit stronger and using our legs and our arms a little bit more. So we really want to stay consistent with that. Older setters want to keep working on that tempo. So, if you have that toss, make sure that if you're going forward, you're taking it in the same spot that you would be taking it backwards and just using more of your wrists to get that ball. So work on that flick of the wrist, slide, for that faster tempo. Now we're going to have Logan go to the ground. She's going to do sit-ups here. So do 50 sit-ups. You can do, or then you could do some scissor kicking. So scissors there, trying to keep the ball going. Okay. The other trick here, she's doing a great job pushing it up. Okay. Now let's try and go forwards and backwards. Good. Give yourself some time. She's doing a great job of keeping in the same position. A little bit of work there.